So, hello again.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing great today. And yourself?
Yeah, really good, really good. The weather's nice. Life's nice. It's summer. Great albums in front of us
Yeah.
in the future. So you've you kind of started like this rather big comeback, right? Kind of went out of the music scene on your like own stuff, and then came back, like actually coming back with a new album, hence the tour, hence the reason why we're talking.
Right.
So the first question that I have, and I'm genuinely curious about it, is do you feel like do you feel successful after all these years being on the music scene? Do you feel happy about where you landed?
First of all, the meaning of success could be many different reasons. What success is to certain people. Is it fame? Is it glamour? Is it money? Is it profile? For me, it's my biggest success story is the change of lifestyle I had 30 years ago, where I changed everything in order for me to become the man I am today.
Yeah.
You know, and the man I am today is someone who's very calm and patient and full of life and full of laughter. So I've had a lot of things happen in my life which have been fantastic, a lot of things that have been weird and wild, and a lot of things that are very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if somebody, like let's say I would, as you probably can see, I'm sitting in my own studio writing music, etc. If
Right.
I would come to you and ask you, how should I perceive success? What should matter to me as a young musician in this day and age where everything is instantly available, everybody wants to have an instant fame? How should I perceive success?
Can you repeat that one more time, please? Okay.
Yeah, no worries. So, in this day and age, everybody kind of wants to be successful overnight. Like that's, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. If I would come to you with your background, your absolutely enormous experience on the music scene, and you've seen it all from the very start to where we are right now.
Right.
You would have to tell me what should matter to me as a musician, as an artist. How should I perceive my art, and what should I pursue?
Well, the first thing you must do is if you are in being an artist in any walk of life, you have to believe in your own craft and art. You have to believe in what you are doing. And if you believe in what you are doing, don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to what anybody else says to you about. Don't let anybody's opinions take away from what you want to do, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about, If you really are interested in what you're doing, you have to live and breathe it and sleep with it and realize it's a calling. It's a calling for you only.
I really like that answer. I do actually identify with it a lot. It was a long run for me, but as well, but that doesn't matter. So again, touching on you seeing it all, coming out with a new album, which I want to talk about as well. Do you think the scene has drastically changed? Like, do you have to approach it differently as you would have to, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So I need to re-grasp the thought. You coming out with a new album right now.
Right.
It's literally on the verge. We're going to talk about it in a second. But how do you see the conditions of a music scene these days compared to what it was, I don't know, 20 years ago, 20 odd years ago? Has it changed drastically? So for you, being a veteran on the scene, do you have to approach new tactics, or you just go with it?
There is no such thing as the music industry anymore. It's not the same at all. It's just not the same world. It's from where I came from all those years ago. It's just completely changed.
Yeah.
You know, the record labels are a waste of time, and the people that work at record labels haven't got a clue what they're doing. As far as musically, they might think they are great at business, but I don't think so. So it's just a different field to work with, and it's different. It's very difficult for new young artists. You know, really difficult.
Do you feel like you have to play the game again?
Do I feel like I have to play the game again?
Yeah.
No, no, and I say that with all, you know, gratitude that I'm at a place right now in my life where I don't really have to worry too much about anything, because I've done pretty much everything I wanted to do as a child. All I want to still do is make music, play some shows, and have fun, you know, and I don't get carried away with anything else other than playing music today, right now, in this very moment.
It's extremely refreshing for me to listen to that. So I'm like replying every single question that I've
You're
had.
very welcome. These are really good questions, by the way. The reason why I ask you to repeat them, I want to make sure I completely understand.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. No, I'm genuinely curious. Like, from my perspective, me coming as a journalist, however you name me, I don't want to ask you basic questions. I want to ask you questions the same way as I would ask you if we would went to a bar and grab a pint. Like, for me,
Right.
the
Right.
questions that I want to ask.
I understand.
So going on and moving slightly forward towards the album. One thing that I've noticed listening through the album, and the reason why I've asked about playing the game, is every single song on the album actually just like they are their own thing.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like with any of the songs, I don't feel like within 10 seconds I need to hear a hook or I need to hear a vocal, whatever. The first song on the album, your vocal comes in around a minute-ish.
Yeah.
Which was extremely, like, it was refreshing to hear that. Because for once I was able to sit down, listen to 10 songs, and you get everything. Can you tell me how does this album came about? Like, what made you write this type of song?
The album was written in February or March of 2024 in my studio here at home in LA, and those songs, each song for me is a little movie. And I must say that you're young and you probably don't remember too much about when I was going through my lifestyle change 30 years ago. Let's just say I had a lifestyle change. I changed everything in order to become this person I am today. And since I made that lifestyle change, on every piece of music and every lyric that I have written in these past 30 years has been about the human condition: fear, facing fear, embracing the fear, letting go, faith, and love.
Yeah.
And everything else. It's just, I want to write about us as humans, you know. So each song to me is very visual in when I create something. And I'm glad I can hear that you've been listening to those songs and maybe listening to the lyrics, and it means everything to me that you're doing that.
Oh yeah, no, like I've like, for me, the journey, like, now you're mentioning the little movies and it makes sense because when the Black Cat Moan comes in, which I think it's my second favorite song of the album.
Wow.
And the guitar plays those small wow, wow.
Yeah.
All of those.
That's my bass. That's my bass.
That is even better then, because for me, all of those small nibbles, like they go throughout the album, and like I found like here and there some small things that they repeat themselves. It for me, it felt very much true. It doesn't feel like around this part of the song we need to have a hook again or something. The Lost Parade for me sounds like Soundgarden beat track, but a bit more. Like all of those things, and I think My Alibi has that riff from which reminds me of Rage Against the Machine for some unknown reason.
A little bit.
So that was just plain amazing. And now talking about it, what comes first? Is it the music, then the lyrics, or does it come like together? How does the process look?
It comes, and in my home, I have I think in every room there's a guitar in the corner of every room. So if I'm walking through the house and I have an idea come to me, I pick a guitar up. It's maybe one chord, or it's a riff, or it's a note.
Yeah,
or and it starts like that. And I sit down. I put the iPhone on my iNotes, and I start writing about whatever's coming to me that very day. And all those songs you're listening to on the Chosen album were written again very early last year. They wrote, Chosen was the first song I wrote. And when I wrote that particular song, I knew what the next song was going to be. They all sort of, they are married to one another.
Interesting. Okay. No, I'm trying to grab like my head and all the thoughts I had about it. So can you say that this album is pretty much but actually you can, like the journey of 30 years led you to this album, pretty much. What do you think will come next?
Well, that's a really good question. And what comes next for me, and this might be an exclusive, I'm not sure if there will be another album.
Okay.
I think I have made a lot of music.
Yes.
And the reason I say there may not be another album, I'll say something you will understand, because no one really now, I'm talking any artist or any band, nobody really sells any albums anymore. They don't. And the listener is only maybe listening to one or two songs and they move on. So for me, there may never be another moment where I want to make another 10 songs on an album. I only maybe want to make one song or two. I love making albums. I think you can tell, you can hear it.
Yes.
What comes next for me, I think, is primarily live shows.
Which is like getting back to the roots of how music should be perceived, really.
Yeah, I mean, new music is vital to me. But when you go see a band that has been playing for 30 or 40 years, you're only probably going to hear those hits from all those years and years ago. Maybe they won't play any new music. I'm talking like the Stones, they don't really play anything new. And they're great, by the way, they're fantastic. For me, making new music is vital. It's for me, really. I make music. People say to me, why do you make music? I make music to center me and keep me focused on being grateful.
But I think like if every artist understood that they have to be their own fan first and foremost, life would be
right.
It would be so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one last question about the album, and then we're going to talk about Poland, because there's some questions that I want to ask you as well. So you've mentioned not another album, which I like. I don't want to say I agree with it, given that I've been listening to your music since I was, and like I mean, especially yours, since I was like 15, so
Cool.
almost 20 years ago. So coming out of this album, this on like such a high note, absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
But let's say there's the magical thing happens, and you have extra energy, or like the stars align, and you're
Mhm.
able to do one album, like a final one, Glenn Hughes, signed
Mhm.
and delivered. But you can, I don't know, resurrect or bring back anyone who would make that album with you. Is there anyone who would be on that album?
Oh, I've lost so many friends. I mean, oh God, I've lost so many close friends. John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, Gary Moore, those two, Tommy Bolin.
Yeah.
These three guys were, Mel Galley from Trapeze. These four guys would be Keith Emerson, the keyboard player. These are all really close friends to me. It's a shame a lot of my friends are no longer with us. Again, well, I say to you very carefully
Yeah.
about, I don't really discuss about what comes next for me musically. But I can tell you, making chosen, I realize making chosen, this could, and if you listen to what I'm saying, Into the Fade, the last song, you can see I'm saying, I'm going now. You can see I'm saying, let's go. If you listen to what I'm saying at the end, let's go back to the start. I'm talking underneath the music. I say, we're going to go back to the start. I hope you come with me. I may be saying it's farewell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like also the last chorus on Into the Fade is just absolutely nervous. Like, for me, it's a great way to end such a good album.
Yeah.
Like, as I've mentioned, everything flows into each other, and like it just makes sense.
By the way, when I say it's farewell, it's not.
Oh
I
yeah, no,
don't.
never
I
literally.
don't. I don't really know. I can say honestly today, I don't know what comes next because I'm a man of the moment. Things can change tomorrow. Things can completely change. Maybe the music business will change. Maybe things will be different. But going into the album, for me to write the album and to record the album is very, very emotional.
Yeah.
I'm a very sensitive songwriter and singer. It's very, very emotional for me. So I don't know if I can continue to do that.
Yeah, no, like we're not infinite. Like
Right.
life's a finite thing, so we have finite
Mhm.
resources within us.
Mhm.
Right. I could probably muster like million questions about the album.
You can ask me if you whatever you wish.
Um. Okay. Let me recall one moment because I have a little story. Um. One second.
Okay.
So you have, right before the end of the album, you have this beautiful ballad which echoes a lot of things for me. Like it's spacey, it's echoey, it's
Mhm.
very vibrant within the album.
Mhm.
Um, and now you saying about this kind of being the farewell, or like not knowing what happens next. For me, like that, this song changes its meaning 100%. Um, how do you feel about writing stuff which like they put you which is the actual genuine question, because I have issues with that as a singer songwriter. How do you feel about writing a song which puts you like within one spot on the timeline and you never change it? Do you have actually, that's the question. Do you have songs which you kind of regret you wrote, or you don't like the person who wrote them, even if that was you? back years ago?
Well, first of all, the song you're playing was "Come and Go." "Come and Go" for me, people come and they go. People come for 1 week or they stay for 1 year and they go. People never normally stay. They come and we all come and we all go. So, and I'm saying goodbye and hello to a lot of people on this song. For me, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes in life. We must change. If we don't change, we will die. We can't stay in the version of ourselves right now forever. There are many different versions of Glenn Hughes. There are so many different versions, both the way I look, the way I feel, the way I sound, and a lot of people don't like when I change. I should stay like in 1974 with my long hair and the white suit and the California jam, and they think that's me, and it really isn't. It was me in 1974.
Yeah.
The me today is nothing like that. I don't write those kinds of songs anymore. The songs like I told you 30 years ago when I had the lifestyle change, all those years later, you can hear my message to people that we live for the moment. We live in today. I don't really like to talk too much about the past. I will talk to you about the past. I know you need to do that. But there is no future for me. When I say to you, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's I like to live on safe terms,
Yeah.
where if I make plans, God has a sense of humor and says, no, 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 we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. So I leave all my planning up to God.
That's a good way of living life. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think you've answered my question perfectly. It's like, yeah. Right. Okay. Going back to actually going forward. So let's talk about the future. You're coming to Poland. Like you've been to Poland, I think last year.
I was there 2 weeks ago. I was in Charlotte Valley.
Even better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great. Great show.
Okay. So then my Googling skills are really subpar, which I'm really sorry about. Okay. I'm not going to ask you what your favorite part of Poland is. I'm going to ask you what's your favorite food in Poland and why?
Well, I'm vegan, so
Okay.
it's I basically only eat plant-based food.
Okay.
So if for me, food is a necessity, but I have not eaten the flesh of a animal
Yeah.
for 40 years now. So for me, I don't drink milk, and so for me, I live a different kind of life. So I only get to eat basically plant-based food.
You should be still good with some pierogis, I reckon.
No, I tried that. Somebody gave me some. Yes, it was interesting.
I feel like Poland is kind of hard when it comes to being vegetarian slash vegan
It is.
because our history and everything is meat centric.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Um, right. Okay. So then
By the way, obviously you've been to Britain. I can see you've been to college in Britain, right?
so I actually lived in UK for quite a while.
I can hear it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 2 shows in Poland, one in Krakow, one in Warsaw.
Hmm.
Um, okay, I'm going to ask you that question. You've been to Poland multiple times. If you would have to choose one city, would it be Krakow or would it be Warsaw?
That's a difficult one for me because they're both great for me. The fans are so great. I have a lot of Polish fans that follow me to both cities, So that's a difficult question for me because I genuinely do. Both those cities for me are exceptionally great. It's difficult to say which one because I love those two. In fact, for me, those two cities are two of the most favorite cities for me to play in Europe.
I take that answer. Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Okay. So 2 more questions. First question. If there's anyone being on the verge of buying tickets to your gigs right now, is there anything you would say to them to, I don't want to say push because that's a bad word, to reassure them that they are spending their time exactly the way they should?
Well, again, I'm going to give you an exclusive here.
Yes.
And I've been doing interviews for a couple of weeks, and I've never really said this, but I actually, I'm feeling like I know you now. I kind of feel like we're friends, kind of. So I say this to you, and it's very important that people understand what I keep telling you about the moment. This moment, I don't know what's happening, but this may be the last time as a solo artist that I come to Poland.
Okay.
It may be. So you're asking me how I should sell a ticket. I don't really need to tell people. I don't want to make people buy a ticket to see me. My fans buy tickets anyway.
Yeah.
But if they have a feeling that this could be the last time I'm coming, then I'm sure they will buy a ticket.
Oh, that's going to sell like hot buns, like 100%.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the last one, we've touched.
And by the way, this could be the last time I'm coming to Europe as a solo artist. I'm not sure. Not just Poland. I mean, I'm thinking. Again, it's difficult for me to think about next year because I don't know. All I know is that right now I'm doing these shows in Europe, Poland, get 2 shows, and I'm thinking, let's see what happens.
Like exactly as you've said, like you're not planning it. God may have different plans for you. So, yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to say goodbye. It's just that I don't know where I'm going to be the next year. I don't know.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So last question. Given that I know people who use my stuff and I talk to them, we've touched about the music scene, the music industry, the albums, etc. Is there anything you would say to young artists being on a crossroad right now and like deciding, do I want to do it or not? Is there a message from Glenn Hughes that would say them, that would like give them hope, or say them, no, don't do it? Like, what would you say to them?
I say this to you. When I was a very young child, when I was 11 and 12 years old, learning how to read music, I slept with my guitar.
Yeah.
And I see children today when they're that age and they're into what they're doing, sports, and after a few years they quit. I never quit. I never stopped loving my instrument, and I fell in love with singing. As you know, I've got this voice here, and all of my life I've been beloved music. I love music. I love other people's music. I'm friends with a lot of famous people and musicians and sports people because we're all artists who love what we do. So if you're young and in Poland and you really want to become a musician or a sports athlete, if you fall in love with the craft and the art, if you stay true to what you believe, if what your soul calls you to do, you will do if you love what you do. I pray that you stay with what you want to do and pray that nobody tells you other than that you're doing just fine.
Cool. That was absolutely perfect answer. Absolutely perfect answer. Thank you very much.
You're a good man, Arthur.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.